Welcome back to Wrestling World. Today we'll be getting into the story about Stephanie McMahon being attacked by a fan, the scary NXT injury situation, what's going on with the WWE Elimination Chamber, and much more. So let's start things off with the Kyle O'Reilly injury on NXT this week that really went viral. After getting attacked in the closing moments of the show, Kyle O'Reilly was laid out in the side of the ring, with referees and medical workers all around him. Lots of crazy things were being reported at the time. Reports were claiming that he legitimately blacked out and needed actual medical attention and was seriously hurt. A fan that was right there at ringside caught everything on camera and snapped a lot of pictures of what was going on even after NXT went off air. Kyle O'Reilly was taken out of the arena on a stretcher. Triple H even came out to ringside while he was being placed on the stretcher. So fans were understandably thinking that something horrible happened to Kyle. The pictures of him on the stretcher went viral, with fans and other superstars all wishing him well. But as some fans pointed out, there was a WWE cameraman that was strictly focusing on everything that was going on with Kyle O'Reilly. That wouldn't be the case if it was a real injury. That brought up some suspicion about this being part of the show, but fans still couldn't tell for sure. Then, on Thursday morning, reports came out saying that Kyle O'Reilly was thankfully okay, and that it actually was part of the script. Kyle O'Reilly did respond to the fans' concerns and had this to say. "Thanks everyone for checking in. Your love and support truly means the world. I was placed on a stretcher last night out of concern for my neck after receiving a brain buster on the steps. Thankfully, I can move around somewhat okay today, but I may need some time to heal." As much as that hurt and sucked last night, the betrayal was worse, coming back from this stronger and with a thirst for revenge. Best served cold. So if this was really a part of the show that WWE actually fooled a lot of fans with, the execution of the injury was perfectly done, and definitely got the job done of getting the fans talking. Of course, Adam Cole's heel turn will play a big role in Kyle's story, so we'll have to see how that story continues to unfold. What did you think of Kyle's injury? Speaking of attacks on WWE superstars, that brings us to this story about Stephanie McMahon being attacked by a fan. The story was told by Kurt Angle on his recent podcast. Angle had this to say. "This is crazy. So, I was going to call the police, and I called Vince McMahon instead earlier that night during the show. Stephanie McMahon walked out down the ramp, and someone threw a baseball at her, and Vince McMahon went to security and said, 'You find the SOB that did that. I don't care how much money it takes. You tell fans. You keep offering money until they say yes. $100. You know, if they don't want to do it for $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. So security was going around asking the fans, and they weren't going to tell, and they ended up doing a really high number, and one of the fans said he did it. So obviously, this was quite the bizarre situation. Angle didn't clarify if the baseball hit Stephanie McMahon or how serious it was, but it was still a scary situation. Getting hit by a baseball is no joke, especially if they're being thrown at full force. They hurt a lot, so hopefully the fan missed Stephanie McMahon when he threw it, but it still angered Vince McMahon and he wanted security to catch whoever did it. Thankfully, we haven't seen anything like that in recent memory, but there have been times where fans will run into the ring, and it's always a scary situation every single time because you just never know what they're going to do. Hopefully WWE security and the security in the future venues don't allow this to happen again at all. So we covered Seth Rollins' comments from earlier in the week about how he was loving what Roman Reigns was doing as head of the table on SmackDown. Those remarks did come from WWE's The Bump. It's not like it was made up on WWE television, so you can say that maybe he was speaking a little out of character, but it still has fans discussing and speculating. Some fans have even come up with the idea of an alliance forming between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. If Seth Rollins, the WWE character, actually loves what Roman Reigns is doing, what if he offers to work with Roman Reigns? These two were former tag team champions and longtime Shield brothers, so even though Roman has changed drastically, there still has to be this part left in Roman Reigns that still remembers and respects everything he accomplished with Seth Rollins. Would Roman Reigns be willing to accept someone that isn't a family member into the table? It's a good question to ask. You can also put up the argument, well, Seth Rollins is basically like family to Roman Reigns. Would Roman Reigns accept him, have this mini Shield reunion, and go on to dominate SmackDown together? It's a good theory and idea, but the main issue seems to be that Roman and Seth are two alpha characters. It's hard to imagine either of them taking a backseat to each other. Like Seth just said on SmackDown, he believes that SmackDown is his show and that everyone should follow him. So it doesn't make much sense for him to say something like that and then form an alliance with Roman Reigns. If Seth Rollins is going to do anything like that, he'll probably form a group himself and select the people to join him, like he's done over the last year and a half. So that's another possible direction for Seth Rollins to go on. It's a little repetitive, but what if he forms another group of followers himself? Maybe he gains momentum with his little group and that's how he catches Roman Reigns' attention. Either way, as partners or opponents, it seems like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are destined to cross paths again soon on SmackDown. What would you like to see happen between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins? We have another Elimination Chamber update. Elimination Chamber is this Sunday, but the card seems to be all up in the air. The only matches that seem truly locked in is the WWE Chamber match and the SmackDown Chamber match, where the winner goes on to face Roman Reigns. That's really the only matches that seem to be locked in for the show. We know we're supposed to see Asuka defend against Lacey Evans, but that will no longer be happening due to Lacey's pregnancy. So, will the Raw Women's title still be on the line against someone else? Or will Asuka be removed from the event? The way Asuka has been treated as Raw Women's Champion has been pretty sad. Even though she's still Raw Women's Champion herself, she just feels like a background supporting character on Raw. It's still an unbelievable stat that since November 2020, the Raw Women's title has only been defended once. We're about to be in March, and the Raw Women's title has been on the line twice from November to now. Just a horrible statistic to look at. It's also been a while since Asuka has had an actual in-depth feud for the title too. So the fact that her match at Elimination Chamber got cancelled is pretty unfortunate, but maybe WWE finds a replacement or changes the plans in some other way. The Elimination Chamber matches will obviously take up a lot of time in the show, so it's not like WWE needs to fill a whole card out, but they are expected to add a few matches to the card on short notice. But what are your thoughts on today's wrestling news? What did you think about the story of Stephanie McMahon getting attacked by a fan, the big fake-out NXT injury, the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns theory, and the issues going on with the Elimination Chamber? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.